What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Almond Cake, and today we are going to be playing a game called Touchstarved. Now, before we get into the game, I do have to issue you guys an apology. I haven't uploaded on this channel in a very long time, and I want to say I'm sorry for that. If you notice, the background is different. Oh my god, the background is different? Why? Well, that's because I moved. So previously, before, if you didn't know, I lived in South Korea and I decided I wanted to leave. So I left South Korea in like March, and I've been in the States pretty much ever since. But I actually had ended up moving again a month later in April to a different place. So moving is a pain in the ass. If you've ever started a new apartment, okay, from scratch, it is horrible. Okay, absolutely horrible. You don't realize how much stuff you have to buy until you're like, we don't have a couch, we have nowhere to sit, we have nowhere to eat, we don't have utensils to eat with. Okay, it is awful. So it has taken me a very long time, me and my roommate, a very long time to kind of put our apartment together, which is standard. But I just want to say I'm sorry, but we finally built the computer. So I built it in September, late September, and I've been playing back games ever since. I'm back streaming on Twitch as well. That's twitch.tv/almondcake. The O is a 0. And I'm over there a lot of the times on the weekends as well. But I have been pretty neglectful towards you guys. So I wanted to give you guys this little gift a whole couple months later, okay? This little gift of Touchstarved. It is a ultimate game. It is a dark romance visual novel where your choices determine whether the story ends with gothic romance or blood-curdling horror. Explore an enigmatic city, can't read, and find a cure for your curse by entrusting your fate to 5 love interests, each uniquely monstrous in their own way. I'm pretty excited for this game, and it looked good based on the trailer. Okay, so today we're just going to be playing the demo because the full game is not out yet. I don't know when the full game was out. It says planned release date is to be announced, so who knows, but when that comes out, I'll be happy to play. In the meantime, we're gonna be get straight into the demo. If you're still here, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, do your thing. Okay, you know the usual. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Touchstarved. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Oh. This looks so good. I'm scared. This is a demo and not the finished product. Horror, graphic violence, strong language, alcohol and drug references, injury and dismemberment. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Please click to proceed. In Touchstarved, your choices matter. The decisions you make may result in a unique dialogue, interactions, or even choices in red text, which contain exclusive content. Try playing through the demo more than once and choosing different options. You might even cover a secret ending. And remember, there are no wrong choices, only interesting ones. Choose wisely and save often. Oh. Almond. Choose your pronouns. She, her. This world began to unravel long before you were born. It began with fogfall. Spectral mist bled from the seams where reality was so thin it split. And from that fog emerged monsters, inhuman beings with unnatural powers. Some possessed language and intellect, Others were mindless beasts driven by little more than the desire to slaughter. As cities fell and unrest spread, humans united in their fear while monsters thrived in the chaos. And then there's you. You're not even sure if you're human. You were born cursed, with the hands that alter the minds of anyone you touch. Choose your backstory. Oh, so there's 3 different origins. We have the unnamed. You were raised as an oracle in a remote temple. The priest claimed your touch bestowed enlightenment, but a visiting mage revealed your curse for what it is. Following the mage's word, you fled in search of the cenobium. You regularly experience unnatural premonitions that rattle your body and soul, and an innate sixth sense gives you a heightened awareness of hidden supernatural presences around you. The hound, you were raised by society's outcasts, criminals who accepted you when nobody else would. Your partner in crime, the friends since childhood, helped you steal enough money for a cure, then betrayed you. They left you with only enough coin to travel to the cenobium, your last hope. You have sharply honed social intuition. You can survive and even thrive in the violent underbelly of any city, using your experience with the underworld to get ahead. And last but not least is the alchemist and exiled cenobium mage took you in as a child, raising you as her apprentice. She seemed to take pity on your curse, but you discovered that she was cultivating you as a test subject. You fled the cenobium seeking your cure. You're an experienced spellcaster with encyclopedic knowledge of alchemy, spellcraft, and history. With a little observation, you can identify subtle effects of magic. I think I want to do, this seems cool, like this is like more action based, but I think I want to do the oracle. So we're going to go with the unnamed, a fallen oracle. Your name is Almond. You selected she, her pronouns. Your backstory is the unnamed. Is this correct? Yes. Interesting name for an oracle. Oh. The wasteland stretches as far as the eye can see. There's nothing out here but death, the ever-present stench of decay, and countless sun-bleached bones cast like seeds across the barren land. I could say death doesn't scare me, but to tell the truth, I'm desperate. It's been 2 weeks since I joined a caravan bound across the waste. Finding a group that would accept me was a trial in itself. As rations grew sparse and my canteen ran dry, I began to despair. But then I saw it. Iridia, the city of knowledge, one of the last bastions of humanity left in the world, and home to the famous academy called the Cenobium. All the world's knowledge gathered in one place. If there's anywhere I'll find a cure for my curse, it's there. All that stands between me and a cure is the final stretch of salt-soaked waste. Or so I think, until I see the first tendrils of fog snaking beneath the wagon. Oh! Is this fogfall? My stomach sings at the very whisper of it. A silent storm more devastating than fire. Dangerous in cities, but a death sentence beyond them. A thick blanket of fog engulfs us, smothering out the lantern's light. The wagon lurches to a stop. In eerie silence, heavy as the mist falls over us, the only warning we get is a strangled scream. Stay back! No! The cry dissolves into wet gurgling. Then the wagon violently pitches to the side. I hit the ground hard. The air punched from my lungs. When I open my eyes, adrenaline lends sudden, awful clarity to the carnage around me. A traitor I once shared bread with lies face down in the mud, their back reduced to long strings of torn muscle, gleaming gristle and exposed bone. Bodies litter the wasteland. I try to rise, but my ankle explodes with pain so blinding white balloons across my vision. Only when my eyes adjust do I see the dark shape in front of me. A soulless swoops over the twisted form of a caravaner. I freeze, but it swivels its head. A dozen bulging eyes twitch in my direction and blink as one. The soulless lets out an ear-splitting shriek and runs at me. But right before it reaches me, the beast barrels past, vanishing into the mist. Distantly, a horse screams in the dark. I need to move. Now. Run for the city. I take off, running deeper into the haze. The fog is so thick that I fear I'm headed in the wrong direction until I see a dim pinprick of light emanating from the shadow of a spire. It's faint, but it's enough. I came too far to die here. Rapid footsteps echo all around me. I turn in circles, frantically searching the opaque mist for the source, but the fog ball twists and stretches sound. Suddenly, the caravan's drivers burst forth from the fog. Our eyes meet too late. He slams into me, knocking me to the ground, and slips in a patch of mud. The soulless falls on him as soon as he slows. It catches the driver by his throat and rakes his stomach with razor-sharp claws. He comes apart like wet paper, spilling intestines and viscera into steaming tide. Fighting the urge to heave, I claw frantically through the slippery muck for a handhold. Shit! My hand catches on the jagged edge of a rib jutting up from the water. Bandages unfurl around the gouge, torn deep into my palm. The pain's quickly forgotten when a hand closes around my wrist. Can you stand? One of the travelers from the caravan leans over me. We need to run. They reach for my hand, and I realize too late that my bandages have come undone. No! Don't touch me! The sensation of their thumb brushing the back of the hand sends a shiver down my spine. All it takes is one touch, and in the space of a breath, my curse takes hold. Their lips peel back into a deranged grin. No, I've seen this face countless times before. This is my curse. Madness of my own making. Their grip of my hand tightens until pain radiates from my knuckles. Let me go! Suddenly, clammy hands crush my throat, choking off my breath. Die, 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 die! Spit bubbles at the corners of their mouth and flecks my face. The edges of my vision darken as my lungs scream for air. My nails gouge deep into the traveler's wrists, but no matter how much blood I draw, they don't flinch. The more I struggle, the tighter their grip grows. My pulse hammers my ears, slowing with each thudding beat. This can't be happening. I'm going to die. Not because of the fog or the soulless, but because of my own curse. Tears sting my eyes. No, not here. Not like this. The hands drop from my neck, leaving me wheezing for air. My lungs burn with each raged cough. My vision clears, and the traveler's face takes shape, hovering inches from mine. Lips still split into the macabre smile, even as blood seeps between their teeth. They give one last shuddering breath, then slump over the claws hooked through their stomach. The soulless shoves the body aside, and the glowing eyes studying its leathery skin as though grinning. There's a flash of claws. Red spills across my vision. I thought there'd be pain. As I sink into the murky water, all I can feel is the grit of silt filling my mouth and the icy embrace of shallow water. Distantly, I notice an arm resting among an outcrop of reeds, mine neatly severed at the elbow. I should have taken both arms. Without them, maybe I could have survived. Maybe I could have had a home. Instead, I'll die cold, alone, and face down in a desolate wasteland. Did I just die? Did I just die? If this is death, it's not as bad as I feared. The cold is gone, as is the choking stench of bog water. I could drift forever, cocooned in oblivion, until all thought and sensation vanished. No curse, nobody howling at me in madness and terror, nothing at all. Thought has a terrible appeal to it. But the next moment, I take a reflexive breath. Air pours into my lungs, then out again in a ragged gasp. Feeling comes flooding back. Warm cloth on my bare skin. A firm surface underneath me. A strange tang of sulfur in the air. Do not be afraid. Come on, handsome. Okay, let's immerse ourselves again. I twist my head toward the voice. Tears flooded my blurry vision at the bright glow of lamplight. Try not to move. The voice is calm, steady, and commanding. But more importantly, it's a stranger's voice. One thought cuts through my mental fog. I have no idea who this is, and I'm completely at their mercy. Stay away from me. My words come out in little more than a creaky whisper. I clamp my mouth shut, hating how weak and helpless I sound. Oh my God. No. No? Who the hell is this? I manage to push myself up on one elbow, but my head swims and my surroundings give an alarming lurch. A stubborn patient. I don't have the strength to dignify that with a response. Instead, I pull the sheet up higher and wipe my eyes until my vision clears. Bro, it's gorgeous. Oh! The stranger towers over my prone form. Warm light reflects off his pristine medical coat. I instinctively shrink back, and that's when I notice that I'm completely naked except for a thin linen sheet. Naked, lying on a low cot with a pair of sharp golden eyes watching my every move. The man's gaze flickers to my exposed, unbandaged hands. I plunge my hands under the sheet to hide them from sight. Oh, it's too late. He must have noticed what they look like. Strange, cursed, inhuman. I brace myself for his inevitable suspicion and disgust, but his expression doesn't even flicker from that gorgeous smile. He just watches in placid silence as I struggle to make sense of my surroundings. Where am I? Who are you? Be calm. You are safe here. Whoever this is, he clearly has no idea who or what I am. I've never been safe anywhere with anyone. Even the shrine of my childhood, the one sanctuary I ever knew, turned out to be a horrific lie. I scowl, pulling the sheet protectively around myself. Where am I close? The man's golden eyes narrow slightly. A sharp sigh rustles the papers in his hands. I see you are not dissuaded. Your clothes were torn to shreds when I found you, but I procured replacements. Oh. With a soft creak, he stands from his chair, giving me a better view of my surroundings. I seem to be in some sort of medical clinic. Bottles of silvery alchemical concoctions line the counters in neat rows. The air makes my nose twitch, a faint whiff of smoke and something distinctly metallic that I can't quite place. The doctor produces a large, dense bundle of cloth which he sets at the foot of my cot. He's easily a head taller than most, and I have to crane my neck to look at him. Thank you. I should be polite if I can, especially since I don't know who this is, what it can do, or what he wants with me. Let's see. Meeting his gaze sends a hot frisson down my spine. Something about him nags at me, like a half-formed memory I can't place. Thank you. You're welcome. I'll leave you to get dressed. His long hair, oh God. With a curt nod, he leaves through a narrow door. I hear a soft click as the lock turns behind him. I count to 3 in the sudden silence. When I don't hear any more footsteps, I reach for the bundle of clothes. An itch in my elbow stops me short. I reach down to absently rub at it, then freeze when my fingers meet a neat line of stitches. I know what I saw. That beast took my arm clean off. And yet, my arm shows no sign of injury apart from the black stitches poking through my skin. I gingerly flex my fingers, feeling my heart race at the sensation. This is impossible. I should be dead, or at the very least gasping out my last breaths. I squeeze my eyes shut, waiting for the pleasant dream to unravel and to wake up bleeding out in the swamp. But nothing happens. The seconds tick by, and my arm remains resolutely healed, my surroundings pristine and quiet. In numb disbelief, I reach for the replacement clothes and begin stiffly pulling them on. They're thicker and warmer than mine were, with a black woolen cloak to go with them. But there's one thing still missing: my bandages. The golden-eyed man didn't leave me with any, even though I know he saw my hands. I slide off the bed and take a few unsteady steps towards one of the drawers. If this is indeed a doctor's clinic, then there must be bandages somewhere. I start opening drawers at random, and of course, that's when the door swings open once more. Are you looking for something? I whirl around, clutching a thick roll of clean bandages. I try to step back from him, but my legs bump up against the edge of the cot. Your caution is understandable, though if I meant you any harm, you would know. That doesn't make me feel better in the slightest, but he makes no move toward me, so I quickly wind the bandages around my hands. The glowing scars and mottled skin disappear under a layer of clean white cotton. May I ask why you need additional bandages? I clench my jaw. I knew it would only be a matter of time before he asked about my hands, though the way he does it is strangely roundabout. There's no answer I could give him without raising unwelcome suspicion, so I just shake my head and finish tying the bandages in silence. I can only help if you tell me what ails you. An involuntary snort of laughter escapes me. Where would I even begin? Would he even believe me if I told him? No. Best to keep my curse to myself for now and learn more about him first. Who are you? You may call me Kuras. And where exactly am I? Iridia, which I assume was your caravan's destination. I can think of nowhere else for a group of travelers to go. Iridia. So I made it to the City of Knowledge after all. I should feel relieved, but all I can manage is a vague sense of increasing unease. How did I end up here? I brought you to my clinic, of course. You were the only survivor from the caravan, barely clinging to life. You need immediate treatment. Which you provided? Yes. He says it so simply, as if I'm a small child and he's explaining basic addition to me. I frown and flex the fingers on my recently healed arm. Aside from being a bit stiff, it feels fine, thoroughly attached to me. You're saying that you stitched my arm back on? Pardon? A soulless attacked the caravan. It ripped everyone to shreds. It tore my arm clean off. But when I woke up here, I trail off, bewildered. I've never heard of any magic that could heal a mortal wound like that. What kind of person could do such a thing? The doctor, curious, pinches the bridge of his nose. He sits back down in his chair, quiet for a long time. I do not where you come from, but Iridia is the city of knowledge, and deadly secrets alike. Information is power. It is most unwise to give or receive it freely. Since you have refused to divulge your secrets, I will not divulge mine. I do not even know your name. You are new to Iridia, so I will overlook the specific breach of etiquette. However, you should not expect others to extend the same courtesy. Do you understand? He looks pointedly at my fresh bandaged hands. Loath though I am to admit it, he has a point. I'm also a complete stranger to him, and if he's telling the truth, he saved my life. I take a deep, steadying breath. This time when I speak, I sound a bit more like myself. Almond. My name is Almond. It's a pleasure to meet you, Almond. There's a little more warmth in his smile, his polite demeanor back in an instant. Thank you for saving me. I chance a smile in return, even if he won't explain how he did the impossible. There's no doubt in my mind that I'd be dead if not for Kuras. Think nothing of it. I'm not sure if he's just being excessively courteous, but his words only raise more urgent questions. But I have to ask, why did you save me? You don't know me. The question seems to startle Kuras. I could hardly leave you to die in the wastes. Assisting those in need is the very essence of a doctor's duty. I've never met a doctor who also handed out free clothes. My fingers find the edge of the cloak. It's a subtle but delicately embroidered pattern around the hem. I try not to think about what kind of price Kuras might ask for such well-made clothes. No. I suppose not. Forgive my presumption. I rarely come across a... Wait, what? Okay, wait. Forgive my presumption. I rarely come across so fascinating a patient. I blink. What did you just say? I simply meant that few would cling to life so resolutely or brave such a perilous journey to Iridia. I could not help being curious about you, Almond. His voice dips to a soft murmur, and he abruptly looks away from me. Oh, Kuras? You're pretty curious yourself. Am I? Well, I haven't forgotten about my arm. I wiggle my intact fingers at him. Clearly not. But you haven't asked me for any payment either. I require none from you. Travelers do not have an abundance of coin, and it would be unethical to leave you destitute in a strange place. I fall silent, unsure what to say. Nobody would help a whore like me for free. There has to be some kind of catch or trick, right? A loud knock at the front door stops our conversation cold and spares me from having to say anything else. Duty calls. Unfortunately, you are not my only patient today. The knocking grows more insistent, and Curtis lets out a tired sigh. Please wait your turn. Though he says it quietly, the clamor on the other side of the door abruptly stops. Do you need anything before you leave, Almond? Oh. Between the soulless attack and my miraculous arrival, I'd almost forgotten why I came to Iridia in the first place. I need directions to the cenobium. The cenobium? The look on his face is downright chilling. He pauses, choosing his words with cold deliberation when he speaks again. Whatever you seek, it is very unlikely you will find it there. The cenobian gates open for precious few visitors. Even if they did, you would not like what you found inside. My heart sinks. Is he saying that I came all this way for nothing? Risk life and limb for nothing? No, that can't be. I've only just arrived, and Iridia is the largest city still standing. There has to be a cure for me here. Then, if not the cenobium, where would you suggest? Do you know anyone else in Iridia? I shake my head. Then I suggest the local guide. Head to the wet wick and ask for Leander. Excuse me? The wet what? The wet wick. He sounds deeply unamused. Follow the postings advertising Leander's bloodhounds. They're difficult to miss. Oh, when you meet Leander, tell him I sent you. That isn't much to go on, but Curtis points towards the clinic back door. You'll be safe so long as you do not draw attention to yourself. That's easier said than done. I've always been a magnet for the worst sort of attention. If you require my assistance, you may return whenever you wish. Though he's smiling, there's a note of finality in his voice. Resigned to my dismissal, I slip out the back door. Wow, so now we're on our way. We're actually in the city. I follow the line of identical posters around the corner and nearly hit my head on a precariously dangling wooden sign. Looking up, faded orange letters read, The Wet Wick. The facade of the building looks like it's seen better days, but I hear faint music and laughter coming from inside. Time to go in. Ooh. The inside of the bar is a far cry from the abandoned exterior. It's not even midday yet. Most of the tables and booths are occupied by a loose assembly of people in matching green cloaks. Bustling bars are not something I'm used to, but I steel myself with a deep breath before pushing forward. I cursory glances and turn up anyone with a dagger-shaped earring. I'm about to head towards the counter when a chant rises from the center of the room. Show, show, show! The remaining green cloaks abandon the bar and their booths to rush towards the center of the room in a sudden torrent. There's no time to move out of the way. I'm caught, swept along on the ale-stench current. Hey! Rhythmic chanting drowns out my voice. I thrash, throwing out my elbows as oppressive bodies grow heavier. My hip knocks into a table. I grip it, holding on tight to steady myself. But the crowd has stilled. The chanting stopped. A pair of gilded boots stride across the tabletop. Oh. Okay. Let's see him. Oh! Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Seriously? You dogs again? Scattered laughter and cheers rise from the audience. Oh, my God. Wait. Yes. I drag my eyes upwards. Oh my God. Oh my God, he's handsome. Oh my God, he's handsome. Hey. Yeah, he's handsome. Okay. A well-dressed man. Well-dressed? That's all you have to say about him? Really? A well-dressed man stands on the table in front of me. His broad shoulders framed by thick lapels of a trench coat. I can't even read. I'm not reading. Oh my god, look at this. Look at these. Who cares about what I'm thinking about right now? This really is the last time, alright? This time when he speaks, the audience falls silent, as though bewitched by his magnetic presence or rich, low voice. Oh, but nothing is as captivating as a smile. He beams at the crowd around him, a performer on his makeshift stage. Don't blink, or you'll miss it. He laughs, and the dagger-shaped earring dangling from his left ear catches the light and a flashes gold. It would seem I found Leander. He raises his hand above the audience and snaps. A flash of pale green light, real magic, no ordinary stage trick, blinds me. As the brilliance ebbs, my gaze refocuses on the mage towering above me. Oh! Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow! He flicks his wrist and the magic spiraling around him coalesces. A delicate flower stem sprouts from between his pinched fingers. One by one, glowing lily petals spring forth. With a flourish, the mage presents the conjured flowers. The audience bursts into a clapping and cheers. A joining magic show was the last thing I expected from a place called the Wet Wig. Leander plucks the iridescent bouquet out of the air and turns in a slow circle, giving his audience a good look. Yeah, I know exactly what I'm looking at. Now, who could use some good luck? Eager onlookers scoot closer to the table. Some reach for the lilies, while others whistle and call Leander's name. But his cool green eyes slide right over them, locking on me instead. What are we? How about you? My chest tightens. Every person gathered turns to stare at me. I'm taking them. I reach out, all too aware of the way my fingers tremble as I carefully take the flowers from him. There's no weight to them, only a faint warmth that radiates from the stem. Oh. As soon as the flowers leave Leander's hand, their light dims. They fade away in a shower of opalescent light. To my surprise, Leander laughed under his breath. That's the problem with flowers. They don't last long. But they leave an impression, right? He grins at me, and I find myself smiling back. Whatever you say, beautiful. Whatever you say, gorgeous. Leander steps off the table, dropping among the excited crowd with an audible clink. All right, bloodhounds, get back to your drink. Show's over. The green cloaks disperse at his command, returning to their tables and booths. Don't! Before I can make my way towards Leander, his eyes find me. He gives me a friendly wave, then beckons me over to the crowded counter. I manage to squeeze beside him, but there's so little room that his broad shoulders presses against mine. I tense, but he doesn't seem to mind at all. Is this your first time in Iridia? He says it lightly with a genuine air of curiosity. Do I stick out that much? No, but I'm certain I remember seeing a face as lovely as yours around Lowtown. Hey, what can I say? What can I say? Listen, it doesn't take much. My eyes flicker to the polished countertop. I'm not used to flattery. Being this close makes eye contact difficult. As if on cue, the bartender approaches us. What can I get you? Surprise me, and add anything my friend wants to my tab. I wasn't expecting the generosity, but I have to admit, I do feel a little thirsty after all that fried dough. I'll have what he's having. Water's good. Water's fine. While the bartender leaves to fix our drink, Leander leans his elbows on the counter. I'm close enough to notice the purple shadows under his lower lids. His eyes wander over me in return, but when they lock my bandaged hands, a sour taste rises in my throat. Here comes the questions. So, what brings you to the wig? Kudos to me here. He pushes his hair back from his forehead, but it immediately falls right back into place. Okay, he's handsome. He's handsome. So, it's about work. The bartender pushes up a pair of glasses our way. I don't realize how thirsty I am until the cool water touches my lips. I drain the water in a single gulp. And Leander takes a deep swig of his beer and lets out a satisfied breath. How can I be of assistance? I need to get to the cenobium. As soon as the word cenobium leaves my mouth, the entire bar falls silent. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't be saying these things out loud. Bloodhounds twist around in their seats to gawk openly. Finally, an especially drunk one speaks up. The hell are you bringing up the cenobium in here? Throw him out. This is bloodhound territory. The vitriol catches me off guard. From the angry looks thrown my way, it's clear I've broken some unspoken rule just by mentioning the cenobium. When I glance at Leander, he's drinking, as though he hasn't noticed the uproar. Only when he catches me looking does he lower his glass. For the love of... He drags a hand down his face. Hey, keep it down, will you? This is business. I tense, expecting an argument, but the outspoken bloodhounds silently return to their drinks. Only a handful continue to watch me warily. Sorry about them. The cenobium is a bit of a touchy subject in these parts. Mixing enough drinks and, well, you saw. How about we continue this outside? When I gave him a terse nod, he pushes away from the bar counter. Oh, what's the deal with the cenobium? It's not exactly the place it's not all it's cracked up to be, I guess. I follow Leander to an alleyway tucked behind the wet wick, where layers of frayed bloodhound posters have been plastered to the wall. Seeing them side by side, the resemblance between Leander and his likeness on the posters is impressive. Kuros didn't send you here for help with the cenobium, did he? From the look he gives me, he already knows the answer. I glance away. No, he didn't. He suggested I find an alternative. Yet, here you are, asking about them anyway. What do you need the cenobium for? I don't want to tell him about my curse. The less people know about my capabilities, the better. Thankfully, Leander takes my reluctant silence as an answer. Well, I see you're already aware of the city's currency. Information's worth its weight in gold here. Kuros told you the truth. The cenobium's dangerous. Get on their bedside and they'll imprison you if you're lucky, or torture you if you're not. But the cenobium's supposed to be a place of learning, a sanctuary. The cenobium has always been heralded as the last bastion of human knowledge, a shining beacon of hope in a world steeped in nightmares. If any place held answers, it would be the cenobium. That's why I came here. That's what they want you to think. But things that seem too good to be true are often just that. Such a simple statement, and yet it leaves me reeling. If it's true, if I ask, everything's on a lie. If it's true, if I staked everything on a lie, then what now? Leander clears his throat. But as I say, there's solutions to every problem and alternatives to every solution. He claps his hands and turns to me with a brilliant smile. That's why Kuros pointed you to the bloodhounds. Let us help you. Whether it's hunting souls, finding people, or recovering stolen valuables, we can do it all, and free of charge. I'm shaking my head before he's even finished his practice speech. My patience is wearing dangerously thin. Listen, I appreciate the offer, but my problem can't be solved by a group of good Samaritans. To my chagrin, Leader nods slowly. Then your problem must be fairly serious. And if the cenobium's your first choice, you're searching for a magical solution, aren't you? When my eyes widen, he nods along, as though he suspected it all along. I'd be happy to help you out. That is, if you'll tell me what ails you. Leander might not work for the cenobium, but he is a mage, and a powerful one at that if his demonstration earlier is any indication. I'm silent, plagued by indecision. I don't know if I can trust him, but it's not like I have any alternatives. I'm cursed. Cursed? Oh, now I'm very curious. What kind of curse? Something ancestral or more recent? He looks at me up and down, taking my face, my eyes, and finally my hands. It's your hands, isn't it? I wait until I'm certain my voice will remain steady before answering. My touch is dangerous. It changes people. It hurts them. Before I've even finished, Leander began taking his gloves off. He tugs his left hand free and flexes his fingers. Let's see it. He offers me his hand, and a prismatic flash of magic ripples across his palm, but I'm already shrinking backwards. I can't. I don't care how confident Leander is. I can't bring myself to hurt him, to see his kind of face twist into a mask of madness. Believe me, this isn't an ordinary curse. I'll be fine. Perhaps where you came from, your affliction was strange and one of a kind. But spend a year in this city, you'll see 1,000 curses and thrice as many cures. Do you really think Curos would send you here if I couldn't handle it? How should I know? I only met him today. I'm as good as any mage in the Cenobium. Better even. If they can help, so can I. You don't know what you're asking me. I'm asking you to trust me. I looked from Leander's outstretched hand to his confident smile. Then with a short breath, I began unwinding the bandages from my hand. Fine. But if you lose control, don't say I didn't warn you. You can tie me up first if it makes you feel better. With each joint exposed, I grow more and more certain that this is a terrible idea. Ready when you are. 3, 2, 1. Ah! I can't do it! It's not in red though. Wait. Okay. I hesitate at the last second, but Leander does not. His hand closed tightly around mine. The instant his fingers graze mine, his expression goes blank. Leander? I try to pull away, but he won't let go. My stomach sinks. Fear clutching me even harder than Leander's grip as he takes a slow, deliberate step closer. His free hand rises, outstretched fingers angling towards my neck. No, you're just fine. Interesting. That's one hell of a curse. His hand lands gently on my shoulders to steady me. I didn't even realize I was shaking. I searched Leander's face for traces of madness, but his eyes remain a clear, soft green. Color rises in his cheeks, but he remains still, except for the subtle bobbing of his throat. Oh! He's blushing? He's blushing, you guys. Ow. Neither of us speak as I trace the contours of Leander's palm, lost in an awareness I wasn't prepared for. Oh wow, that's crazy. Okay. I've been with other people, kissed them, been embraced by them, and more, but not like this. My fingers, long deprived by years of bandaging, pick up every single detail. The grooves of his palm, the smooth shell of his nails, the pulse of his heart. For as long as I've lived, I've never been able to hold someone's hand. Not without dire consequences. I never realized what I was missing until this moment. While Leander's pulse is steady, mine is hammering as fear gives way to excitement. Keep touching him. My hand glides over Leander's wrist and up his forearm where smooth skin abruptly gives way to the raised scar by the edge of his sleeve. It matches the one that runs from his collar to cheekbone. Could it be the same wound? I glance at Leander's face, and his lips part as he considers his words before speaking. Am I the first person you've been able to touch like this? Oh, I'm getting so excited, just like, that is cinema. Even though this is a story, like, this is literature, bitch. Okay. My hand goes still on his arm. So far, I'll admit, your touch does make it somewhat difficult to stay level-headed. But not due to your power. He takes my hand. His soft green eyes flick to mine before he turns it to inspect the golden fissures crisscrossing my knuckles. Look. We match. He points at the golden pin on his collar, and I give him a small smile. We match. I draw my hand back and take a steadying breath. My head feels as though it's stuffed with cotton. Habit alone guides me through the motions of rewrapping my hand, although my fingers tremble too much for the bandages to lie flat. I can't believe that worked. May I ask your name? I'm Almond. You were right to hide this from me, Almond. That curse of yours, it's like anything I've ever dealt with. I can tell you're discreet, but you'd best not go showing that off to anyone else. I didn't plan on it. Are you staying in Lowtown? I pause, room and board with something I hadn't yet considered. I don't know. Let's get you properly settled then. The Wetwick is noticeably quieter. Without their leader, most of the bloodhounds have dispersed, or in a few cases fallen asleep beside their drinks. Got any rooms left, or did my lot grab them all to sleep it off? The bartender, who I now realize doubles as an innkeeper, slides a key onto the counter. You know I always keep the corner room open for your escapades. Oh wow, that's crazy! Me next? Leander's laugh sounds slightly strained. And I always appreciate it, but you're mistaken. This is just for my friend, Almond. Sure, stay as long as you like. You two have fun. Escapades, huh? Leander clears his throat, then holds the key out to me. But I hesitate. My coin purse barely holds enough for a day's worth of meals, let alone a room. How much do I owe you? Nothing. Bloodhound rates. My treat, since you shared your secret, food, drink, and warm bed. Anything you need. Carefully, I take the key from him. It's small, but weighs heavy in my palm. I never expected to have a warm bed in Iridia, let alone free meals. Thank you. Go explore, Almond. You'll find many roads in Iridia, each leading to different answers, but if you need a reprieve from what haunts you, come find me. Just be careful. I nod, taking one last look at the gleaming bronze key before tucking it into the pocket of my cloak for safekeeping. Leander gives me one last friendly wave before I depart. Wow! The air clings sodden and heavy. Without the morning crowd, the sunless streets look barren and bleak. Ooh! Even the peddlers are long gone. Only a pair of crows remain quibbling over stale crust and a gutter. I feel a ridiculous pang of envy. At least they've got a reason to fight. I've never felt so lost. Carissa and Leander both made it clear that the cenobium can't be trusted. But I came so far, endured so much. I need to see the cenobium for myself, if only to satisfy my curiosity. I should have asked someone at the bar for directions before leaving. I'm about to turn back when a shadow passes over me. A cloud. I think until a puff of hot breath tickles the back of my neck. A shadow runs down the street in rivulets. Formless dark spreads like ink into blotted shapes. Claws stretch. A muzzle splits open to reveal long, jagged teeth. A growl rumbles so low and deep, I feel it. I want to run, to scream, but I feel trapped, as though the slightest movement or a single breath will snap the jaws around me shut. No, I won't let it end like this. If I'm going to die, I want to see what got me first. I steel myself, then turn. The shadow vanishes as quickly as it came. I'm left standing in the middle of the street, alone, except for a figure reclining in the shade of a nearby stoop. Hey yo, what the fuck was that just got me? Oh! A monster. That much is clear from a glance. One that could nearly be mistaken for a human were it not for the tufted ears, the tail curled around his ankle, or the dust pink eyes with pupils that sharpen like needles when they fall on me. Our eyes meet and the monster uncrosses his legs. His hair gleams a shade of red that reminds me unsettling of blood where it curls around his colored throat. Jumpy, aren't you? His tone is so light and carefree that I glance over my shoulder to make sure he's speaking to me. When I look back, the stranger props his chin on his knuckles and regards me with an inscrutable little smile. Didn't you see that shadow just now? It was massive, moved like a beast. Even as I speak, I'm aware of how ridiculous I must sound, but the stranger's smile doesn't falter. The only beasts I've seen are the Wig's drooling regulars, though this did catch my eye. With a flourish in his... Is that... shorts? You see this? With the flourish of his hand, my in-room key appears dangling from his finger. It turns on his chain, glittering when it catches the light. He crooks his finger, beckoning. I had already taken 2 steps forward before some stifled instinct exhausts me. Something feels wrong. I'm still on the edge, throbbing with so much rhythm that the stranger's shadow flickers at the edges of my vision. I always attract the worst kind of attention, but I can't get rattled now. Where'd you find it? What can I say? I'm a sucker for shiny things. It smells well enough to reveal pointed canine. I saw you drop it. You really should be more careful. In a city like this, somebody might take advantage. A bald-faced lie said without a hint of irony. I can't figure out how he picked my pockets under my nose, but I'm certain that he took my key, and I need it back. I approached the man, careful to keep my arm's length away. He doesn't look dangerous, but the most deadly ones never do. The stranger's chain softly clings with the tilt of his head. His ears flick. Keeping your distance? I'd be stupid to trust you. You think I stole your dinky little key from all the way over here? He gives an exaggerated sigh. I'm good with my hands, but not that good. Do I really look like a common thief to you? Well, yes! He's got me there. The sheer fabric of his sleeves alone would be too expensive for most street thieves. Hell, his shoes look like they cost more than I spent traveling here. And then there's a shop behind him. No matter the city, parted pink curtains only ever mean one thing. I'm not looking to buy, and I doubt I could afford your services anyway. Luckily for you, I don't charge. The man runs the tip of his tongue over a fang, and the first time since I stepped into that shadow, I feel something other than dread. My face grows hot. That's not what I meant. I'm flattered, really. Were sex my trade, I might make an exception for you. How about half off for a handy, or you could just hand over my key. As nicely, I might even let you tug my tail. Just throw it here. So, some spindly little street urchin can snatch it and run? He raises my key and tilts his head so he can watch it dangle back and forth. I suppose I could just claim your room for myself. Not that I'd be caught dead slumming in the wake with the rest of the slack-jawed imbeciles. You're obviously not from around here, so tell me, traveler, what misfortune brought you to this wretched place? His voice practically drips with derision. I'm not telling you anything. What have possibly drawn you to this dreary little pig pen? I wonder. He listlessly watches the arc of my key swinging around his finger. The weather's shit, the food's struck, and there's entirely too many monsters for a human to feel safe. Unless... Dagger-sharp eyes flick towards me. They gleam with amusement. Unless you're just dying to consort with monsters. But now my embarrassment has worn away, leaving simmering impatience in its place. If this is a shakedown, it's the most frustrating one I've ever heard of. Are you done? Or did you plan on fooling with me until night falls? He touches his chest in mock affront. You wound me. How can you be so immune to my charms? It's because you stole my key. I would have flirted back, but you stole my key. These sly foxes, man. You're about as charming as an ox and half as subtle. I suggest you go practice your seduction on someone interested. That earns me a burst of breathy laughter. How about you teach me the ropes? Show me a thing or two. The more he flirts, the more convinced I become that this is some kind of trap. No matter how innocent monsters look, they always have tricks up their sleeves. And something tells me that this one's more dangerous than he lets on, even if he has a lovely laugh. I don't know what you want or why you're resting with me, but I'm not coming any closer until I know you aren't going to attack. Or bite. Or bite. Won't bite. Hard. Unless you beg me. No matter what I say, he finds a way to twist my words into an innuendo. Even when I'm silent, he goes on as though we're having a conversation, not a standoff. Do you like dancing? There's a traveling troupe performing in Hightown tonight. Their lutist is utterly exquisite, truly a performance to die for. There's life in this dreadful place, if you know where to look. You sound like you know the city well. The man's gaze flickers from me to the key dangling from his finger. Naturally, this dump was a little more than a miserable little smear when I first arrived. Hightown, Lowtown, I know already like the back of my hand. What about the cenobium? Do you know where that is? His smile vanished. Oh, his ears went down. Oh, surely you've seen it. That absurdly large tower looming over the rest. It's a little hard to miss. It must be that spire I noticed when I first caught sight of Iridia. The Cenobium's overrated. Forget about it. Everyone says that. What's the tea? Everyone says that it's overrated. I can show you things those stuffy boars in their Olympic tower couldn't even dream of. I've already got plans. Oh, I'll have some pressing matters of Cenobium. Lunch dates with librarians, tea time with the most esteemed abbess. That's my business. What's it matter to you? I square my shoulders and the amusement bleeds out of him. Your loss. The stranger, finally bored of this tedious game, extends his hand towards me. The key rests on his palm, neatly dividing skin and leather. When he makes no other move, I reach for the key. But as soon as my fingers graze smooth breath, his hand springs shut around my elbow. Hey! He yanks me down and I stagger, my soul slipping on the steps. For a sick moment, I fear my bandages will unravel under his touch, but he's careful not to disturb them, even as his fingers dig into my arm. I know I smell blood. I knew I smelled blood. You reek of death and the road. And that fucking doctor. Oh! His voice, once silken, lowers to a smoky growl. The shadows around him seethe and boil as he pulls me closer. And something else. He murmurs against my throat, nose grazing my jaw. Let go! I try to twist away, but he doesn't budge. His breath trails down my neck, sending a thrill of dread through me. But just when I feel he'll bite, he takes a deep whiff instead. His wide, flat eyes gleam with a naked hunger as he gazes up at me. Not quite human, not quite monster. Seems we're both there. The stranger's ears flatten and he releases me with a short breath. I yank my arm back, massaging where his grip left grooves in the bandages. The stranger twists around to watch a woman duck out from the curtains behind him. Her press uniform makes her as a cleric as the Cenobium. I leave you for all of 10 minutes and you're making trouble again? Will you quit harassing the tourists? The stranger, Veer, I take it, rolls his eyes and flashes the cleric a withering smile. So suspicious. Can't you see this is a friend of mine? We're not friends. A natural liar. He grins at me and his tail swishes minutely. The woman purses her lips at me, clearly unconvinced. I open my mouth to correct him, but Veer cuts in. I was graciously offered my dear friend some free advice. Though his voice remains light and cheerful, his expression darkens. Danger is drawn to you like a moth to a flame. It will always find you, given time. The woman clucks her tongue as though she's heard this recital 102 times. Word of advice? Don't take free advice from lazy foxes lounging in the streets. This crook would sell water to a drowning man for the sheer enjoyment of it. She shrugs off a wilting look from Veer. Oh, please. Any friend of yours knows it true. Now hold still. Veer rises gracefully at her approach. He pushes his hair aside so it drapes over one shoulder, exposing the long line of his neck. And suddenly, it dawns on me that the jingle I heard earlier wasn't coming from the harness attached to his collar, but a leash. A leash? A heavy iron chain wound around a hitching post and padlocked to the back of his collar. Veer posed deliberately to hide his leash from me. The woman produces a keyring from her pocket. She rifles through a dozen identical keys before selecting one and slotting it into the lock. Come on, unless your friends tagging along our merry little soulless hunt. They're hunting for soulless inside the city? Words momentarily fail me. The woman regards me with a polite, if tight smile before marching down the stairs. Veer lingers. He stretches his arms over his head with a yawn, and I try not to stare at the way his stomach flattens when he arches his back. Hey, real? Your little secret's safe with me. Try not to get yourself killed, Veer hops off the stoops and bounds after the woman. His tail sways merrily, as though he hadn't just lied and threatened me. Did you try the thing I mentioned? The Loventian knot? That's the one where you take 3 fingers and actually, don't tell me. Knowing you, it's disgusting. Veer's airy laughter echoes down the street. It's only after the cleric of it that realizes, wait, and find it. Reflexively, I shove my hands into my pockets and find it. The room key. I pull it out of my pocket and raise it to the light just to be sure. A nagging feeling distracts from my relief. I don't know what Veer's game was or what he wanted from me. All I know for certain is that the Cenobian saw fit to leash him, a fate I could share, if that's what his vague warning meant. I left my eyes drift skyward past the lantern's gaze, swaying in the breeze to the Cenobian faintly visible through the haze. Just one glimpse is all I need, then I put this all behind me. The next thing I know, I'm dashing up wooden stairs and crashing through towering double doors. I gasp for air. My lungs burning from exertion. I'm desperate to be safe, but when I process my surroundings, it's more hellscape than sanctuary. I think we're meeting the one that I liked. Yep. Blood flows all around me, overwhelming my vision with the lurid, unholy red. Instinctively, my hand leaps to my mouth, but the rotten stench of blood never comes. Instead, and the smoky scent hangs in the air, sharp and spiced. I swallow thickly, convincing myself that's not as gruesome as it appears. This has to be the sea spring, the place that grants miracles. Pulling my eyes away from the pool, I take in the rest of my environment. Tall pillars flank me, blanketed in written notes. Feeding pillows scatter the floor. A rustic kettle sits nearby. Someone must live here, despite how eerily empty it is. Hello? Is anyone here? My voice echoes across the cavern without response. I approach the paper-covered pillars. Maybe something here can tell me more? I reach for the closest one. I reach for the note in front of me. It reads, "Dear Mother, don't cry for me. I'm sorry I didn't say goodbye, but we'll meet again in another life. I love you very much. From Iris. P.S. If you ever see me, never speak to me again." It's written in perfect cursive. I've never seen such beautiful handwriting. Before I can ponder any further, a sharp chill runs down my spine. Something's watching me. I quickly set the note back, my eyes darting around the wooden deck, but it's still empty, vacant. Finally, I look towards the sea spring. The stillness hides something deeper, something wrong, something familiar. It's watching me. Hey. I spin around and come face to face with a pack of soulless. They chitter and growl, tendrils and spikes flare threateningly, all different sizes and species but sharing one identical trait, glowing crimson eyes. I try to back away, but my heel teeters over the sea spring. I'm cornered. Watch your step. It's deeper than it looks. That voice again. At the sound of it, the soulless freeze, their snarls quieting. Oh! Oh no! Oh, here he is. Okay, I search for the voice's source and find it above me, lounging in the rafters. Good! I am but a girl. Oh my god, these handsome! You look lost, little sparrow. Wife me now! Wife me now! Wife me now! Damn! 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 Okay, whatever you say, beautiful. His gaze is a violent crimson, one that sears through me, leaves me feeling raw and exposed. They're the same eyes I've seen over and over, first with that scarred woman, now with the soulless circling me, all bound by the sea spring's blood red. In the shroud of darkness behind him, shapes like massive tentacles twist and coil around the wooden beams. Oh, these... I can't focus. The soulless growls ring in my ears. They're not advancing, but that could change at any second. Panic rises in my throat as I struggle to track them. Damn, I want to save just so I can look at him. Yup. Hey. Eyes on me. Sir, yes, sir. My stomach rolls as I turn my eyes away from the soulless. Don't ignore someone who's talking to you. It's not polite. It's not polite? Ow. Okay, for a moment, anger knocks my fear aside. Who is this bastard? Fuck. I'm distracted. I'm kind of distracted by the soulless about to maul me. Bastard. What's his name? Only at my command. I scan the souls again. They really aren't attacking, posturing more than anything else. You tame them? Power of the sea spring. They're hungry, so they might bite. You could give me a reason to stop them. How about I didn't do anything wrong? Trespassing. And that's punishable by death? He gives a non-committal shrug. I called out earlier to see if anyone was here. Were we supposed to play hide and seek? Didn't hear you. My voice stops in my throat. This man's terse coolness is both infuriating and terrifying. I racked my brain for a way to diffuse the situation. Tell me what you want. I'm not in the mood for guessing games. Your hands. Alarm jolts through me. I hide my hands under my cloak. Show me. Why? Won't ask twice. With a sharp huff, I reluctantly hold out my bandaged hands. Are you getting off on this? Unwrap them. Heat rushes to my face and fire to my tongue. I should give him a piece of my mind, but not when his soulless are one command from ripping me to shreds. Yet no matter how much I will myself to move, my body is frozen in place. I stand there for a long, agonizing minute. My hands are trembling when I finally raise them. I know the skin beneath the wrappings all too well, the hideous, unnatural flesh I've grown to despise. I grip the edge of the bandages. Stop. Oh? With a weary sigh, the man slides off the beam and lands with a thud that shakes the panels underfoot. Damn! Whatever you say, beautiful! Whatever you say, beautiful! He's a monster with an imposing figure that towers over me. I couldn't tell how tall he was before, but he's big. I bet he is. Illuminated by lantern light, his features are stronger, sharper. What? I'm losing focus. I'm losing focus here. Subtle clinks of metal accompany each of his footsteps. The closer he gets to me, the faster my heart itches. What does he want? Is he going to kill me? I step backwards and find nothing to set my foot on. I've forgotten my back was to the sea spring. I fall right before one hand catches my lower back. I'm hovering above the sea spring, the scent of smoke and leather enveloping me. Blazing crimson eyes bore into mine. Told you to watch your step. Hey, whatever you say, gorgeous. I'm too stunned to mutter a response. I can't even read. Okay. Like I weigh nothing, he guides me back to the solid ground and steps back. Following a subtle gesture from his fingers, the soulless around us disperse and relax. The shift in their demeanor is so abrupt, it gives me whiplash. The enormous tentacles are no longer in the rafts, though now I have doubt I ever saw them at all. Either way, I exhale a breath of relief. Thanks. As focused on me as he was before, the monster pays no attention to me now. His music? He kicks some seating pillows out of the walkways, checking the contents of the kettle with a scowl. The sudden disregard is almost insulting. So that's it? I'm not a threat anymore? Oh my god. Never were one. Don't look at me like that! Hey, keep me here. Then why'd you threaten me? People get honest when they're afraid. In other words, he was messing with me. I drag a hand over my face, exhausted by the fact that this is the second time a monster has provoked me today. You're ice, aren't you? Depends on who's asking. I'm like drooling. Help! One of your friends told me this was your territory. She also said you were a gang leader, but there's no one else here. I thought there'd be more people. Ice picks up the kettle and walks to the edge of the sea spring, then dumps out the contents into the endless red. Gang took a walk. His smile, cute! His pleasant smile stretches across his face, ear to ear. Then in an instant, it drops. I get the sense that I shouldn't ask about his gang again. What do you need the sea spring's power for? Depends. Can it cure a curse? Probably. You mean you don't know? Nope. He shakes up the empty kettle and starts collecting stray cups, tidying up. My frustration builds. I narrow my eyes at him in a questioning glare. When he notices it, he returns it with an amused smirk. Are you being irritating on purpose? Listen, Sparrow. The sea spring can cure anything. Nothing's stopping you from trying it yourself. What do I have to do? Drink. I have to drink from the sea spring? My eyes glide to the blood-like pool beside us. The eye of ingesting this strange liquid make my guts churn. Is there a price? Always. Ice taps his temple with a finger. You lose it a little bit. That's it? Might have already beat it to the punch. My humor earns me an amused, fanged grin. This is a little different. When you drink from the sea spring, you forget who you are. Your mind combines with everyone who ever drank before. Humans, monsters, soulless. One big happy family in your head. My blood runs cold. I've heard of these before. Group mind. My attendants used to tell me that my power granted people access to a higher plane of understanding. A group mind of my own making. All lies. But something tells me this is real. Even if one thing doesn't add up. Your eyes are red too. But you obviously haven't forgotten who you are. Or if I can finish my sentence, Ice strides past me towards the entrance. Time's up. Let's finish this later. Wait, already? You barely told me anything. Came on a bad day. I've got somewhere to be. There's still so many questions burning on the tip of my tongue, but my frustration spills out before any of them. I was told to come in for help, but instead I get threatened and kicked out. You're joking, right? Watch your tone. I'm nice. But you don't want to ruin the host's mood. My skin prickles. The feeling of being washed washes over me again. My eyes dart back over to the sea spring. A lone ripple dances on the quiet surface. I take Ice's advice and clamp my mouth shut. Ice approaches a nearby soulless, a lanky dog-like one with 6 legs and a crown of tendrils. Several sets of crimson eyes adorn its sides. Its forked tail wags rapidly when Ice squats beside it. He runs his fingers through the tendrils, scratches his chin, and pats his head. He has a pet dog, like a soulless pet dog. A gentle smile plays across Ice's lips. The affection he holds for the soulless is painfully clear. I dip my eyes away, my stomach fluttering at the tender sight. It's getting dark out, so this pretty girl will guide you back. Following a short whistle from Ice's lips, it trots over to the entrance, obediently, tail swaying. I watch the soulless warily. Pretty is not a word I would use to describe it, and the idea of it protecting me sounds absurd. If I decide to drink it, how should I find you? Find someone with eyes like mine. They'll point you in the right direction. But think it over. Once you drink, you can't go back. It's a lot to process, but I give a small nod. At least I know I have another option for your cure, as disturbing as it may be. I follow the soulless with a measured distance and watch it nudge the giant doors open with ease. When I'm about to cross the threshold, I sneak one last glance behind me. My heart skips when I meet Ice's eyes. I'm about to snap my head away, but he just flashes me with an easy smile. Till next time, Sparrow. I buy you a drink for scaring you. Oh! The riz is unmatched. I don't trust myself to do anything. Respond with another curt nod. Damn! Outside, more crimson-eyed soulless cuddle about. It's hard to believe it's the same threatening pack from before. They chase each other in circles, run around in the bog's mud. They pay no attention to me as the dog-like one escorts me away. It's an uneventful trip. Sometimes the soulless looks over its shoulders at me to make sure I'm still following. Dusk darkens the sky by the time we reach the city. I can't sense that massive heartbeat anymore. Maybe it was all in my head. The soulless sits and looks at me expectantly with familiar crimson eyes. As nervous as I am, I carefully glide my fingers through the soulless tendrils and scratch beneath his chin, just like Ice had. It pushes into my palm in response, rumbling with a sound akin to a purr. My vibrations are soothing, almost healing my fatigue. When it's satisfied, the soulless spins around and scampers back in the direction we came, vanishing into the darkness. It's barely my first day in Iridia, and I've already encountered so many things I thought were impossible. Tame soulless being one of them. My head spins. Maybe I should call it a day. Whoa! Nightfall creeps across the streets of Iridia. The city, labyrinth even in daytime, has become a worn, treacherous alleyways. The streets are completely deserted. If I hadn't been here earlier, I would have thought this part of the city abandoned. I make my way through the winding streets, doing my best to keep my bearing towards the West Wick. My steps slow when I hear rustling in the dark. I strain my ears, but everything is still. Is the silence playing tricks on me? My head spins, the world blurring as adrenaline rushes through my vein. Only one thing is clear amidst the haze. The soulless that attacked the caravan. Ooh. It crouched over a dark, indistinct shape, a body. A garland of intestines spills from pallid flesh. Blood grouts the cobblestones for mercy. The soulless is too distracted by a smell to have noticed me. My feet feel as heavy as stones, but I can't just stand here. Then another. Then a shard of glass crunches under my heel. The world seems to slow to a crawl as the soulless raises its head, blood dripping from its tendrils, every single one of its bulging eyes fixed unblinkingly on me. It's really here. It came back for me. Run. I'm off like a shot, running for my life through the darkened streets. Behind me, a piercing bass splits the silence, and heavy footfalls pound after me. My heart thunders in my chest. I take turns at random, trying to lose it in the maze of streets, but I can't seem to shake it. I can hear its breathing now. A wet, fluttering rasp growing closer and closer. The same claws that severed my arm swipe out. I duck, saved by pure reflex, and skid around a corner. I take 3 running strides before the bottom drops out of my stomach. A wall twice as high as me bars my way. A dead end. When I turn around, the soulless looms in the entry to the alleyway. It's no longer running. It doesn't have to. As it prowls closer, my thoughts race. Some of the buildings lining the streets are lit. There must be people inside. It's a long shot, but... My voice swings through the shadow of the street. Silhouettes pass by the windows, but nobody answers. In this wretched world, few people will stick their neck out to help their own flesh and blood, never mind a stranger. The soulless, provoked by my shouting, gives a rasping hiss. It's the only one I get before it lunges at me with a flash of claws. I hurl myself to the side, but the slick cobblestone betray me. I fall, sprawling over the rough stone. As the soulless looms over me, I scramble away from it until my back hits the wall. There's nowhere left to go. It descends on me for the kill. But the impact never comes. Oh. Is it Leander? I rarely crack one eye open, then the other, not sure whether I should have believed what I'm seeing. A hooded figure crouches in front of me, one blood-stained hand stretched out. Oh! 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 Whatever you say, beautiful. Moonlight silver. Damn, he's gorgeous. Moonlight silvers the edge of their stiletto knife. Their face and hands are spattered with blood. And the soulless? My eyes dart past my unexpected rescuer to the misshapen form behind them. The soulless many eyes, once restless environment, now look dull and waxy. A red pool spreads slowly from under its body. Numb with shock, I can't but stare. It's dead. After all the people it's killed, after nearly killing me twice, I can hardly believe it. Well, I generally take the offered hand. The stranger's gaze dips to my bandages, pale lips part on the brink of a question, then close again. With the strength belying their slight frame, they pull me to my feet. Something about them is strange, unlike any human or monster I've ever met. I can't quite place my finger on why. As soon as I'm on my own 2 feet again, they pull away from me and start wiping the blood from their face and hands. Stay there. They turn away from me stiffly, leaning over the soulless' gangly body. With their back towards me, I realized that I saw their hooded silhouette at the cenobium. You were at the cenobium. I've seen you before. You were at the cenobium earlier, weren't you? They cast a weird look at me. So what if I was? Their harsh response takes me aback. Before I can formulate a response, they continue. What are you thinking, traveling alone at night? This is far from the worst thing haunting Lowtown. I can't make heads or tails of them. First they saved me, now they scold me? Lesson learned. I could do without the lecture, though. To my surprise, they break eye contact. Their attention glides back to the soulless' corpse. They examine it with an inscrutable expression. I clear my throat to feel the silence. A moment. Min. Suddenly, Min tenses. Their blade flashes as they drive it into the back of the soulless' neck. The soulless thrashes once, letting out a rattling hiss as the air leaves its lungs. Min leans on the blade, driving it deeper and deeper until it's a sickening crunch and the creature goes limp. My heart thuds in my chest. Must have been clinging to life by a thread. Min straightens up, withdrawing their blade in a single smooth motion. Better to put wretched things like this out of their misery. They calmly clean the blood from their knife. I swallow my eyes, still glued to the cooling corpse. Why is the soulless inside the city? Min looks at me, eyes searching, before realization dawns. You're new here. There's no walls around the city. Soulless can come and go as they please until someone is contracted to stop them. The Cenobians' patrols don't bother to protect the Lowtown. Not anymore. Let me guess, you're not a fan of the Cenobium. I wouldn't go that far. Their brow abruptly furrows, and they sheathe their knives, motioning for me to follow them. It's not safe here. The vultures can smell death. I'm not quite sure what they mean, but I don't want to stay lost in the city. I trail behind them as they stride down the street. If it's so dangerous, then why are you helping me? You were making an unbearable racket. Next time you walk into a soulless' claws, at least die quietly. The answer is stinkingly harsh. I just need to find my lodgings. I hold my hands up, trying to forestall any more stippy comments. Alright, I get it. I'd love to get out of your way, but I'm sort of lost. I just need directions back to my lodgings. When would you think I'll help you? You've already helped me once tonight. Why not a second time? That seems to catch them off guard. Their brow knits and they look away, scowling. How troublesome. Almond? Ah, goodness! I turn surprised by the voice. Karas walks down the street towards us, his white and glued clothing is pristine despite the grime of the city. I turn surprised by the voice. Karas walks down the street towards us, his white and gold clothing is pristine despite the grime of the city. Hello, Min. I see that soulless was your work. Min shrugs. There's a familiarity to the way they regard each other. You know them, Karas? Min is a freelancer who has done a few errands for me. They're quite reliable. Unreliable freelancers don't eat. Alma needs to get back to wherever she's staying before she wanders to the jaws of another soulless. It seems like half the city has poured into the Amaryllis district's colorful streets. Laughter, clinking glasses, and music assault my ears from every direction. Yet the most noise comes from the wet wick. Its doors hang wide open, lanterns lit. Here we are. He moves to the door, and Min lets out an audible huff. Don't tell me you're going in. I have some quick business with Leander. Fine. He still owes me for yesterday's work. They drag their feet, reluctantly trailing me into the tavern. As soon as the doors open, a wave of sticky heat rolls over me. In the hours since I left, the wick has grown suffocatingly crowded. Caress stands out, easily a head taller than most. Even so, I nearly lose sight of him amidst the sea of swarming bodies. Pardon me. The crowd parts as though answering his request. Caress glances over his shoulder at Min and me before gliding through. How can anyone breathe in here? Min follows Caress at a clipped pace. Ah! Leander is right where I left him. Although he's traded places with the bartender, he holds a pair of shot glasses filled to the brim with luminous green liquid. And now for the finishing touch. A flash of magic paints the glasses white with frost. You're never gonna guess what's in these. Leander slides the glasses across the bar, and I get my third and fourth shocks of the evening in rapid succession. Oh my god! Ah! Okay, I'm normal. He catches the glasses and lifts one to the light before turning it upside down. The contents, magically congealed, stay firmly in place. You're supposed to make drinks, pretty boy. Don't tell me you're wasted already. Okay, I'm normal. You're supposed to make drinks, pretty boy. Don't tell me you're wasted already. Barry, perched on the bar's counter beside Ice, takes a single look at the shot glass and shakes his head. What have we here? A bucket full of boogers? Leander's nose treasure? You've eaten worse. Barry's lips twist and his ears flatten when Ice offers him a glass. He turns his cheek with a sniff and Ice just snickers. Coward. Don't tell me you're actually... In one fluid motion, Ice throws back his head and downs the shot. Drinking that... A dark look crosses Ice's face. It's... chewy. Ew! Chewy! Wait, let me try again. Behind me, Min grumbles. I told you this place was a nest of degenerates. What can I say? If it isn't Caress and Min. At the sound of Leander's voice, Min's pale eyes grow wide. They look ready to bolt until Caress sets her hands on their shoulders. I promise this will not take long. Min's eyes dart from Caress's hand to his face, then soften. Fine, you first. While they step forward, I linger behind, struck by a sudden revelation. All the people I've met today know each other. Isn't that crazy? Good evening, Leander. Ice, another drinking competition, I presume? Damn. Oh, is it evening already? Could have sworn it was earlier. Just some friendly rivalry, Doctor. Nothing to be afraid of. I can't focus. Listen, you put me in there. Something devious is going on. Wow. Caress acknowledges Leander and Ice with the slightest nod, ignoring Veer entirely. Not that Veer seems to mind. He tilts his head and an impish smile curves his lips when he spots Min looming silently behind Caress. Almost didn't see you there, Min. Looking for your booster seat? Min pushes back their hood. They level Veer with it. Oh, Min, you're gorgeous. Holy. I thought Ice wasn't allowed to bring his pets in here. Veer's tail gives an angry twitch. Damn. At the first sign of an impending fight, Leander vaults clear over the counter. He slides in between Ice and Caress. Now, let's try and keep the peace. Not every day the esteemed doctor takes us up on a drink. His arm snakes around Caress' shoulders. You are finally taking me up on that drink, right, Caress? I'm afraid not. We were merely escorting Almond back to her lodgings. Caress gestures in my direction, and my stomach stinks. I reluctantly step into the light. What do you do? What do you do? Oh my god, what do you do? Okay. As soon as he sees me, Leander's face brightens. Almond! It's been too long. Everyone, this is Almond. She's new to Iridia. I feel 5 pair of eyes fixed onto me, and suddenly the bar feels suffocatingly small. My voice nearly catches in my throat. Hi. Again. Hi, everyone. Again. Wait, you've already met everyone? Ice and Veer level me with subtly amused expressions. Veer's tail gives a lazy wag. We did. Not that long ago either. I'm starting to suspect she's stalking me. You looks far too pleased with himself when I roll my eyes. Okay, like, when the whole group five, like, oh my god. I'm trying to take a deep breath. This calls for drinks. What does everyone want? In an instant, all eyes turn to Leander. You know what? I'm gonna acknowledge that later. In an instant, all eyes turn to Leander, freeing me from the burden of attention. I still can't believe they all know each other. Watching them talk amongst themselves feels surreal. For the first time since I undertook the journey to Iridia, I feel a faint glimmer of hope. I know I was meant to meet them. The low, pleasant rumble of Leander's laughter pulls me from my restless thoughts. Ha! Well, color me surprised. You make friends fast, Almond. I wouldn't go that far. We're more like acquaintances. A wise man once said that acquaintances are merely friends you haven't shared a drink with yet. A wise man? You said that. Here, last week. Men is so funny. They're so funny. I can hear Min's lip curl with distaste from across the bar. Leander clears his throat and continues, unperturbed. Let's toast Almond's health. Care to join in, Doctor? Caress partly declines with a wave of his hand. How about you, Min? No. Are you? No. A resounding pop pierces the din of the bar. We all turn in the direction of the noise. Beer looks almost bashful as he accepts an overflowing flute from the bartender, poured from a bottle so old that its label had been worn blank. We serve champagne here? Since when? Beer pauses in the middle of licking champagne foam with his fingers with a coy smile. Do you? You don't mind, do you? In a transformation as impressive as his magic trick, the concern on Leander's face vanishes. He laughs softly. No, be my guest. I know you've got expensive taste. Then he shoots the bartender a frantic look. Unbothered or uninterested in his company, Ice cants his head at me, a light smile on his lips. Oh my god. Stop looking at me! How about you, Sparrow? I did say I'd buy you a drink earlier. No. My treat. Ice regards Leander over the lips of his glass. In the dim light, the glint in his crimson eyes looks downright dangerous. What'll it be, Almond? I'll take that drink. I'll take you up on that drink. As long as it's not one of those green shots. Don't knock them down until you've tried them. They taste better than they look. Somehow, I doubt that, but I hold my tongue long enough for Leander to go behind the bar. He's lying, isn't he? When I glance at Ice, he only shrugs. Like I said, they were chewy. Probably poison too. He considers his own drink, a tumbler of amber-colored whiskey. Leander's tried to kill me a dozen times by now. It's always a gamble. Bird flicks his tongue in disapproval. When he finally looks my way, it's with a half-lit gaze softened by his third glass of champagne. Where I were you, I wouldn't let Leander put anything in my mouth. He fans his fingers over his chest, voice dripping with fake reverence. The Wet Wick is one of the finest drinking establishments here in all of Iridia. While you're here, you may as well partake of the signature one-adulted drinks and stale nut leather. He sweeps his hand towards a chipped ceramic bowl filled with spindly, speckled jerky that I can only assume is nut leather. What is with the food in this city? As abysmal as you make it sound, this place is completely packed. It's not all bad, depending on the day. Food's edible. Ice takes a measured sip of his drink. Gotta stick around for the real attractions, though. Morphing, that's what he means. Leander returns with the tumbler that he sits in front of me. Uneven chunks of ice bob in a pool of reddish-purple alcohol. I eye the drink suspiciously. It better not be another disgusting concoction of Leander's. Relax, just the local specialty, plum gin. Although if you're feeling more adventurous, I shake my head. Leander wraps his knuckles against the bar until the group falls silent. Alright everyone, let's toast. May Almond's stay in Iridia be full of bright adventure and discoveries. Cheers! Leander and Ice and Veer raise their glasses in unison. Men only crosses their arms, and Kuras watches politely with indifference. I tip back my drink. The plum gin is eye-wateringly strong. Despite its sharp medicinal edge, it goes down smooth. One sip softens the edge of my vision. The next fades the din of the crowded bar into a low, persistent murmur. I find myself unwinding for what feels like the first time in years. Aren't you the popular one, Almond? I'm guessing you met Kuros first. Maybe we're apt to say that I found her. He saved my life. I really performed my duty as a doctor. Although I must admit I was confused when I woke up missing all my clothes. Then it makes a choked noise, somewhere behind him, Min's sighs. It's not what you think. Almond was in grave condition. I could hardly treat such injuries through tattered clothes. The silence that follows stretches uncomfortably long. I look away, unable to face Kura's disappointment, and catch Veer snickering behind his hand. That's my cue to change the topic. Kura's isn't the only one who saved me today. Don't you listen? I didn't save you. You were simply there. That's Min for you. Leander reaches for Min, but they duck under his arm with practiced ease, without so much as looking his way. As reliable as they are moody. You're one to talk to, considering you neglected to warn her to stay off the streets at night. Oh, I might have gotten a little distracted. Min's only response is a short breath. At any rate, I never got a chance to say thank you, Min. Don't. The less soulless alive, the better. Her heartbeat, Min's eyes flick toward Ice, and their lips twist. Ice is too busy nodding along to V's enthusiastic pantomime of stabbing to notice. Lost, no doubt, in an enthralling discussion. I've had enough of this hellhole. Let's go. Min and Kura share a brief look, then the doctor speaks up. Very well. But there's something I must discuss with Leander. If you'll excuse us, Almond. Oh. I'm gonna save right here. I was only thinking until her voice so low it's practically a purr. Lost your tour guide? Put me in the middle. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Put me in the middle. I turn to find Crimson and Pink Eyes trained on me. It's not lost to me that they chose the instant the others left to strike. Just my luck. I had to be abandoned with the two most irritating people I've met all day. Monsters or not, there's no telling what I'll do if either of them push me again. Don't tell me Leander already snuck off to get his knob slobbered out back. That's crazy. He's got business with Kura's and Min. 2-on-1 business, Isn't he lucky? I can't tell if it's the champagne or the company, but Veer has grown noticeably more relaxed. He sits with his chin propped on the back of his hand. His ears twitch whenever a hiccup shakes his shoulders. Why are you so far away? Come join us. He passes the empty parcel behind Ice, but I hesitate. The smile Veer wears is sweet and distinctly sly, and with drinks in the mix, I dread how he knows will mess with me next. We don't bite. Why are they lying? I'm not sure about that. Just hours ago, he tried to rob me, and you threatened me. Me? Steal? Surely you must be mistaken. You sure it was me? Yes, it was you, and then you had the gall to kick me out just so you could go drinking. He gives another one of his shrugs. I was lonely. A simpler answer than I expected, but I guess I can't fault him for that. Veer suddenly slumps forward, gossamer sleeves pulling where he rests his elbows on his knees. Ice sets his hands on V's waist, nearly preventing him from tipping off the counter. How about we start fresh, Begin with proper introductions, get off on the right foot and whatnot. I'll start. My name is Veer, hunter extraordinaire. Veer's right hand flutters to his chest and he bows his head, flinching when his hair falls into his eyes. I didn't say anything, so I suppose it's my turn now. Almond. Veer considers me for a long moment, his tail idly swaying behind him. Then he knocks back the rest of his champagne. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Almond. He says my name slowly and deliberately, savoring every syllable. A tingle jumps down my spine. I quickly turn my gaze away. I smirks my reaction over the rim of his glass. Something funny? Nope. I open my mouth and close it just as quickly. They want me to react, goading me into another ridiculous game. While their sharp cat-like eyes keep me on edge, something about this tension is fun. It must be the gin. A flash of light over Ice's shoulders catches my eye. Across the bar, Kroll's closed the door. I don't see Leander and Min, but it feels wrong to let him leave without saying goodbye. I'll be back. Just as I'm nearing Kuras, gah! Shoulder checked by a man with a neck thicker than both my thighs, who stares down at me, nostrils flaring. Out of my way, shit stain. My words spill out on their own. You watch it. Bitch. They didn't say bitch. They didn't write bitch, but I feel like it was appropriate to add it. I regret them as soon as they leave my mouth. That fucking gin. The roughneck wheels around, shoving a bloodhound out of the way so he can close down on me. What'd you say? He shoves me backwards, sending me tumbling to the sticky floor. I'm fine, but my heart bleeds into my throat. That's when I see the roughneck bearing down on me. You trying to start something here? The roughneck freezes, his fist cocked back. A group of bloodhounds called by the commotion circle me, sizing him up. For what it feels like an agonizingly long moment, the roughneck looks from me to the bloodhounds. Finally, he sniffs and spits on the floor next to me. The lob narrowly misses my cheek. Screw it. Too many freaks in this circus tonight. He turns his back on me and comes face to face with Ike. A dangerous smile spread across his face. You'll do. What happens next is a blur. Ice's fist crashed into the roughneck's jaw, causing an eruption of gasp, shouts, and even cheers around us. Aw, shit. I scramble to my feet right as the frantic crowd swarms around me, cutting off my sight of everything and everyone. Through the ruckus, I hear Leander shouting, Hey, Ice, take it outside! Ignore them, everyone. Look, drinks are on me. With those 4 words, the wick erupts with hoots and hollers. The ring around me disperses as bloodhounds and onlookers rush towards the bar. Through the thinning crowd, I catch glimpses of familiar face. Ice finishes out the back, dragging the roughneck behind him. Kuro slings near the door, searching, I suspect, for any wounded before he departs. Min draws their hood up as tight as they slip out the door, while Ver leans over the counter to swipe a glass of wine from behind the bar. And Leander, seated at the opposite end of the bar, gestured dramatically and apologetically at the bartender. In the space of a heartbeat, I realize there's no telling when or if I'll see any of them ever again. Whoever I pursue may be the last person I get to speak tonight if I follow. Oh! And these are the choices. He's gonna be fighting, but like, he's really hot. Okay, I want him. I'm going outside. Morbid curiosity draws me after Ice. I slink out the back of the wet wick. Like, what does he do? Like, what do you do? A dull crunch reaches my ear, then a thud. Dark, glistening red spatters to the ground, spidering through the seams of cobblestone. It guides my eye to a collapsed body across from me. I wish I could, like, rename these. Okay, actually... Ace exhales, his breath misting against the cold air. Blood flecks his knuckles as he looms over the motionless body, his feet on either side of it. Fear spreads like ice in my bones. My Ice's crimson eyes find me in the dark. Not running, Sparrow? I rarely rise to my feet, moonlight illuminating my face. I thought I was out of sight. Got eyes in the back of my head. Ice steps off the roughneck. My eyes stay locked on the body. It's wet with layers of blood and grime, completely still. He's alive. Are you sure? Calling me a killer or a liar? Liar. Which I guess is both. In that case, he's dead. I squint. He smirks back. Don't believe me? To be honest, it's hard to believe anything coming out of your mouth. I'm a liar after all. His bloody knuckles catch his attention. He tries to rub them clean, but ends up smearing the blood around more. I keep making bad impressions on you. I didn't know you cared about my opinion. Just prefer you didn't piss yourself when we talk. Annoyance bubbles in my chest. Well, I'm not pissing myself. Even with your bad impressions. Like the first time we met, Ice chips away at my fear, replacing it with irritation instead. Ice kneels beside the roughneck and frisks him. I can't but wonder if the crime is worth the punishment, but I hold my tongue. Deftly, Ice's hand searches through the roughneck's pocket. It doesn't take him long to find his prize, a cigarette and a matchbox. He strikes a match, sparks light up his angular features with a golden glow. It's distracting for a moment, but my gaze inevitably drifts back to the muddy body. You're just gonna leave him there? Ice draws from the cigarette. He exhales heavily, smoke curling past his lips. I breathe in the sweet, spiced scent of cloves. As his tension melts away, he looks at me with cool, lidded eyes. Should I give him a blanket? Unbothered by the maybe course, he takes a seat on a crate opposite the bar. I stand awkwardly, forgetting why I came out here in the first place. An unpleasant silence stretches between us. Weather's nice. Cold, murky, and humid, he means. I want to believe he's teasing me, but for all I know, this is Planet for Iridia. Was Princess good company? Who? He takes another long drag. His metal rings catch the light of the cigarette in a flash of red. The soulless who escorted you back. You named it Princess? Jealous? I return his smile. You have no idea. I think your nickname's more fitting. Sparrow. Not sure where Ice got it from. Maybe I should tell him to call me by my name, but it's kind of nice. Not that I'd ever tell him that. Before I can dissect my feelings, I quickly change the subject back to the soulless. She was cute. She was kind of cute, in a weird way. I glanced absentmindedly at my hand, remembering how she nuzzled into my palm at my touch. Ice's eyes softened for a brief moment. Her tail wouldn't stop going when she got back. A group of them don't get much attention. Think she's cute now. Wait till you see her tricks. You taught her tricks. Princess is a smart one. She'll learn anything if you have the right rewards. Sounds about right. The idea of a tame soulless is still so outlandish to me. I was mauled by a mindless, bloodthirsty beast and he's talking about them like they're pets. But it's possible, all because of the sea spring. I need to get to the answers he wouldn't give me before. I carefully take a seat beside him on the crate, contemplating my strategy. He doesn't seem to mind. He closes his eyes, tilts back his head against the wall. Relax. Without the pressure of his intense gaze, I feel myself ease up too, as long as I keep my attention away from the bloody heap across from us. I glance over at Ice and allow my eyes to linger. A sea glass-colored tattoo spirals up his arm, painting over grooves of muscle. Silver jewelry glints in the moonlight. It draws my eyes to his bare chest, rough hands, carved jaw. His ears, his horns, his pupils. Everything about him is sharp, even the fangs that only show when he grins. My attention is drawn back to the tattoo. Something about it feels unnatural, as if the tendrils move when I'm not looking around. What's your verdict? I whip my head in the opposite direction. What verdict? Got a long, good look. Are you impressed? Or do I need work? My face grows hot. You're annoying. He responds with a low chuckle, draped in smoke. Didn't stop you from staring. Bro. Okay. My embarrassment spikes. Without thinking, I blurt out a change in topic. I have questions about the sea spring. Boredom eclipses his amusement in an instant, and he closes his eyes again. Of course you do. I thought I made myself clear what you'd be giving up. Before you kick me out to go drinking, I still need to know more. My turn for a question. Sounds more like an order than anything else. I bristle under his narrowed gaze. Fine. He takes a long pull from a cigarette and lets the smoky trail slowly from his lips. Your curse. What about it? The song and dance is all too familiar. The selfish questions come first. What does it do? Is it painful? Can you control it? I brace myself for the inevitable onslaught. Is the thought of living with it so unbearable? My dread dies with his words. No one has asked me that before. You survived this long, unless you're running out of time. Or if it's even really worth the sacrifice. He flicks the cigarette aside and props his head on blood-smeared knuckles. But what do I know? I'm just an outsider. My fingers fuss with the trim of my cloak. Ordinarily, I'd feel annoyed, but now my chest feels tight. You could have sold me if you were less honest, or a shit salesman. Thought I was a liar. I changed my mind. We lapse into silence again. This time it's surprisingly nice. The quiet, chilled air is a calming reprieve. You know, you didn't seem like an outsider back at the bar. A lot of people like you. Ice raises a brow at me. I start by asking about... Leander. You and Leander clearly get along well. You like Leander? Doesn't everyone? He's helped me a lot since I arrived in Radio. He even got me a free room at the Wet Wick. His charm has gotten him that far, but for a leader, he sure likes it when others take control. Part of me desperately wants to ask what he means, but Ice continues before I get the chance. Surprised we get along? I thought you'd be at each other's throats instead of drinking buddies. His smile is easy, but there's a dangerous edge to it. Leader's done a good job for a human. Naturally, there come a time when his resolve is tested. Same could be said for anyone in this plane or the next. As for my resolve, well, stick around on Iridia long enough and you'll find out. I can't decide if it sounds like a promise or a threat. Got any more observations, Sparrow? I was surprised to see that you and Veer are close. Blessing and a curse. From what I've gathered, most people think he's, I don't know, an asshole, and water's wet. I wait for him to elaborate or add his thoughts, but he doesn't. So what do you like about him? He lets out a quiet laugh if amused by my question. A lot of things. You already named one. You like that he's an asshole? Temperament matches the drapes. Looks good in blood and better in tears. Oh! Kind of iconic, kind of legendary. Favorite thing's the tail. Sometimes it frizzes up if he catches himself, clears his throat. It's hard not to let the disappointment show my expression. Veers is one of the most honest people you'll meet. Just don't listen to a single thing he says. Those sound like a complete opposite to me. Caress? In a way, I'll help him with the clinic sometimes. Stalker doesn't let most people closer than arm's length. And you do? Hearts on my sleeve? Get the sense Kuros was like that in the past. Must have been burned. He trails off after the last few words and shrugs. He opens up his own eyes if he's relaxed enough. I don't know how to even imagine that. You'd be surprised. Even the doctor has an endearing side. I can't decide what's more intriguing. The fact that Kuros has an endearing side, or the idea that Ice has managed to coax it out of him. Tell me if you uncover any of his other secrets. I'd kill to know more. Min. Maybe Min doesn't necessarily like you, but they definitely pay attention to you. Ice's reaction takes me off guard. He growls, pinches the bridge of his nose, as exasperated as I've ever seen him. I make enemies as easily as I breathe, Sparrow. Doesn't bother me. But that dove's got it out for me for no reason. Maybe they're unsettled by the sea spring? It's not about that. Goes without saying that they got some issues. Don't think they understand that you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Honey has left a bad taste in my mouth in the past. It could be the same for them. At least you're capable of conversation. Do me a favor and teach that dove some manners. Thought they'd lay off eventually if I didn't bite. Hasn't happened yet. I briefly considered the possibility that Min wants to get bitten. I'm not about to propose that though. I think Min is plotting. Okay, Min is plotting. They have a plan. The point is that speaking from experience, being an outsider usually means you don't have friends. I don't. I level him with a tired look. Fine, I'll confess. I have one friend. Don't say yourself. Okidus? Who's that? A friend. Lives in my head. It lives in your head. Ice taps his temple with a finger. Right here. Scared you off yet? That'd be the third bad impression I've made on you today. I'm stunned for a long moment, processing what he's just told me. Then I burst into a fit of laughter. You're serious. Ice grins wide enough to flash his fangs. Deadly. It sounds so fucking absurd, I can't help it. On top of everything I've gone through today, it feels like I'm living a fever dream. I've come close to death more times than I can count, encountered tame, soulless, and a horrifying group mind, and I'm supposed to believe that there's someone living inside Ice's head? There are tears in my eyes by the time I rein myself in. Ice waits patiently, lips quirked in amusement. Sorry, it just sounds so ridiculous. The tension that wore on my shoulders so tightly has melted away. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I can breathe. I feel better. Dukas, where in the rat's ass are you? Raucous gruff shouts rise in the streets, echoed by the sound of heavy boots sloshing through mud. The voices share the roughneck's accent from the bar. The same roughneck who is still maybe dead and lying bloody across from us. I nearly forgot about him. I shove to my feet as their voices get louder. They're closing in quick. Ice pulls me by the wrist out of the alley, away from the beaming moonlight. We dive into a nook between buildings, veiled in the shade of tattered canopies. It's a tight fit. Ice bosses me in against the wall, his body all but pressed against mine as he towers over me. For the second time today, that heady scent of smoke envelops me, but this time cut with a metallic tinge of someone else's blood. Ice pitches his voice low. Quiet. My heart leaps into my throat. I'm suddenly acutely aware of the heat radiating off Ice's body, the feeling of his legs grazing my thigh, the closeness of his breath. This is bad. I squirm against him and earn a burning crimson glare. Do we really have to? His hand covers my mouth, muffling my whispers. He shakes his head. Don't. Damn, he's over here. Dukas, wake up, you bastard. A group of individuals, all brandishing spike weapons, fill the alley. They all wear violet sashes, some kind of uniform. I could see what they're doing, but Ice's arm all but blocks my sight. My eyes trail up the teal markings. They coil around his arm, his bicep. They lead up to Ice and to the smuggest smirk I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of options. My eyes dart away from his face, following the line of his necklace down his chest. The way the pendant hangs above the line of his abdomen just before the skin gets swallowed by darkness. A thrill jolts through me, my face hot beneath his touch. This can't be happening. Why am I getting worked up in this situation? He's hot. Like, I don't know what else there is to say. What more can I say? Voice in the alley grabbed Ice's attention this time. Shit, he's got my broken ribs and the whole ones. What kind of freak did this? Fan out. Find the cocksucker responsible. You three, take Dukas back to the base. At least he's still breathing. The alley clears out as footsteps rush away from us. We stay still until they're distant, melting into the rumble of the corridor. Only then does Ice take his hand off my mouth. When we finally step back into the moonlight, the night air is ice on my skin. I feel dazed and the need to keep my eyes off, or is it Ace, at all costs. Was that really necessary? The trembles in my voice is nothing but embarrassing. Staying hidden was the best option. It would be a hassle to run into them with you there. What, because I'm dead weight? Because 3 bad impressions are enough for one day. The answer is too vague for my liking, but he's probably right. Right. Either way, I don't have the energy to argue. Come on, Sparrow. Let's get you home before you're framed for murder. Very funny. Ooh! We reached the front of the wet-wick too quickly. I hate to admit it, but I don't want to separate from Ice yet. And not just because he never answered my questions. He's infuriating. As easily as he makes me feel on edge, he can make me feel safe. Secure somehow. Oh my god, he's so fucking hot. Oh my god. Ooh! 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 I'm just a girl. So we are choosing an intimidating yet laid-back outsider. Will you gaze into the abyss for answers, even at the risk of losing yourself? Listen, I feel like his route will probably be the trickiest, but I want him. What else can I do? I'm confirming it. We're doing it. It's over. Thank you for playing. Okay, well, that was the demo for Touchstarved. So as you can see, I chose Ice or Ace, depending on how you want to read it. It could be Ace, I don't know. I chose his path. Obviously the game is still not out yet, so that was just the intro. That was just the intro the whole time, and I had a lot of fun. I loved getting to meet all the characters and the different personalities. So far, I really like all of them. I am really interested the most in Ace and Leander though. So definitely when the full games comes out, I'm going to choose both of their paths and play both of their pathways. So it'll be fun. Yeah, and we got to see Ace, and it was really just a lot of fun. I mean, the story was good, the immersion was good, the world building is good. I want them to put a pronunciation guide though. That would be very nice for me. But other than that, it is absolutely phenomenal. I love the soundtrack, the sound effects. I liked the art. It's all really good, and I actually can't wait for this game to come out. So hopefully it'll come out sooner rather than later. But yeah, that was Touchstarved, and thank you for sticking around. If you've made it this far, who would you choose? Who is your pick? That's the real question. And that's really all I've got for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.